September 29th here in Canada. Do you feel it in the air? Do you feel the vibe? I hear that term, that phrase used a lot on a lot of channels, a lot of commentary and a lot of comments on the channels on both sides of the border. But I'm going to stay on the Canadian side here. Do you feel the vibe? There's a vibe in the air. There's no doubt about it. Now, not to toot my own channel's horn here, I've been saying for a year or more, September now until Christmas is our last chance. And I still think that. And yeah, I feel the vibe. The woman I was talking to earlier today went out of her way just to talk to me. We just sat for 2 hours and talked. There was no specific objective. She'd come from the East Coast to Ontario because she feels it's the epicenter of what's happening. She'd gone to the March for Children, and she's delayed her departure because she said she feels a vibe. Yeah, that sounds like sort of a cosmic word, but don't you feel it? I sure feel it. And I've said all along, we don't have until 2025 to have an election. There'll be nothing left of our country by then. The WEF will have total control of it through the regime of Trudeau. And by then, he'll just say, there's no more elections. Hey, Zelensky did it. Ukraine, I'm doing it here. We saw what happened in Sri Lanka. So anyways, this fiasco in Ottawa with the SS guy brought into Parliament, that was no accident. I can't quite get my head around why it is. Now we're seeing the post-political theater, the blame and shame game, and the usual, let me be blunt, House of Commons, just bullshit theater. It's a waste of time from this point on. But what was the statement in that? Well, one Canadian blogger I see on TikTok expressed it, and I can't even quite paraphrase him, but he said that's just them putting it in your face, saying, look, this is how ridiculous, how blatant we can be and get away with it. So get your head around it, you slaves, you useless eaters. To go back to when Trudeau announced the supply and confidence agreement, I think I can pretty well paraphrase him. I made videos about it at the time. He said, today we're announcing the signing of the supply and confidence agreement with the NDP, and now we can get things done. He didn't say what he was intending to get done. He didn't need to. It was quite clear, if you were paying any attention at all, what he what he was stating he wanted to get done and has gotten done since then, which are WEF edicts. So, do you feel the vibe? I've argued all along it's gonna, as long as I've had this channel, I've said it's gonna come to a big crunch at the end. And I think that big crunch is just about here. Do you feel the vibe? Let me know what you think in the comments. I feel the vibe. And the really sad part of it is, the ugly part is, it's going to get ugly. It has to. They have no intention of yielding. And if we yield, well, we're slaves in 15-minute cities, aren't we? It's come to a point I never wanted to see it come to, or I should say, we're coming to a point. Further back up to my statement, or my theory here, if you will, the March for Children, it hasn't gone away. The school boards, the government, the federal government, they're all still saying, we don't care what you say, this is what we're doing. And the people are starting to say, not with our children, which just goes to government overreach, the whole March for Children thing. I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to get into it more here. Oh, this ridiculous stuff in Parliament. The business with India, well, that's designed to just wound us more economically because that's part of the WEF's programs. I mean, 1 in 7 Canadians are skipping meals. people are going, well, I'd like to go to a rally this weekend to protest, but I wouldn't have enough. I'd be running out of gas on Thursday because I'm that broke. I'm working 2 jobs. Yeah, push has come to shove, I'm afraid. And, well, I guess we better get out and push back, hadn't we? I don't want to eat crickets. Take care. Stock your larders.